Hey everyone, it's me again, and I'm here doing the VIP tag questions. So question 1 was, what is my medical condition? It is called osteopetrosis, but I also have bilateral optic atrophy, which is my vision impairment medical condition. But the osteopetrosis causes that, and I do apologise for the medical jargon, but that's the explanation of that one. Question number 2 was, in 3 words, describe your vision. Well, slightly colourblind, can't really see depth, and can probably see less than most people think, because they tend to think that I don't look like a blind person or I don't seem to struggle. But when they get me in an environment that I don't know, then they sort of tend to say things like, oh, you really are blind. Yeah, that's why I have a guide dog. Right, number 3 is, what do you find most challenging when you're vision impaired or blind, or something along those lines? Sometimes people's perceptions can be difficult, but we'll but as far as independence and stuff like that goes, I guess sometimes looking after this place, I've got 5 acres here with horses and goats and chickens and whatever else, dogs and cats and rescue animals and all sorts of craziness going on. And things like fencing and stuff like that is pretty difficult, and I'm very lucky to have my partner that helps me do those things. But yeah, certainly mowing is another one. Anything like that, driving obviously. I mean, no one really likes to think about a blind person driving, but when it's on your property, I reckon it's pretty cool. So yeah, I guess they're the hardest things to do when you can't see, and definitely things like looking after all this. I've got horse paddock out here, chicken pen, which is a goat pen today, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Next question is an interesting one. What's the best thing about being blind or vision impaired? And I'd have to say life experience, because if I wasn't blind or vision impaired, well, vision impaired I am, I'm not totally blind, but almost, I wouldn't have had the experiences I've had, and so CPEC wouldn't have eventuated, and that was probably one of the best things I've ever done. This place may not have happened. I might not have the empathy and understanding that I have with other people that have got disabilities and part of minority groups and things like that. So definitely life experience, I'd have to say. I get asked most about being blind. How much can you see is probably the most asked question, I reckon. And yeah, I don't think there's any other common ones that get asked, really. It's just, how much can you see is probably the one that I get asked the most. And my answer is usually not much. Or not as much as you think. I tend to get around pretty well in familiar areas, and one of my friends who I used to go bike riding with on a tandem bike, he said, I watched you walk and you count steps, and I had no idea I was doing it, so I must do it subconsciously or something. But he seemed to notice and seemed to think that that's what I was doing, so good on him. But he could be right, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely do get around familiar areas very well, and people don't realise that I'm vision impaired. Do you have a cane, guide dog or leader? I have a guide dog, well, seeing eye dog actually, is where she's from. I'm not actually sure what a leader is. Is that like a person that like a sighted guide, I guess, where someone is leading you on their arm? I guess that's what that means. But yeah, I have a guide dog, and I also have used a cane in the past. I certainly find the guide dog a lot easier, a lot better, but I can use a cane as well, except it affects my wrists a little bit because of the osteopetrosis. I have osteoarthritis in my wrists and in my hips as well, a little bit, and in my neck. Well, that's the ones we know of. It could be in a whole lot of other places these days, but anyway. So I certainly find the dog a lot easier, because the wrist isn't moving from side to side and all that sort of action that is quite difficult with a wrist that doesn't want to really move that way. So yeah, definitely a dog is the way to go for me. Whether I get another dog or not, because I'm not working now, I don't know. When Nancy retires, she's now 8, I think, something like that, years old. So she is looking at probably retiring in the next couple of years, and yeah, whether I get another dog or not, I don't know. I guess it depends on whether I'm working or what I'm doing at the time. So yes,